to talk about. I'm Linda McNamee, and for the next hour-ish, you are going to, as you saw from our title, learn about how it takes a village. What is it? And the village, as you've probably guessed already, is Burlington. So we will find out about that momentarily. I do want to begin like I begin every episode and invite you to email me at talk@bcattv.org. If you have a suggestion for a future topic, or if you have a question for our guests, whom you will meet momentarily, and maybe not have their email handy, mine never changes, and I can find that. I would like to thank the crew for this evening. Chris Flaherty is one of the staff members here, and he makes sure that all of us volunteers have everything running smoothly and have what we need to be happy volunteers. So thank you, Chris. And speaking of volunteers, we have Christina Nikitas, Gwyneth McNamee, and Jessie Regan, who have given up their Wednesday evening to come hang out at BCAT and learn a little more about this village that we speak. And last but definitely not least, I want to thank my husband Paul for staying home for Daddy Date Night, even though you're having a date with the cats. So thank you. My wonderful guests, I would like to welcome back Julie Lewis and Judy Walsh. So thank you guys for giving up your Wednesday evening to come hang out at BCAT.
Thank you for having us.
And tell us a little bit more about both People Helping People, the Burlington Food Pantry, and then the other aspects of People Helping People, because they're not one and the same, which I learned the last time you were on.
Yeah. Do you want to go? Do you want to talk about it first?
Well, first of all, we want to find out who you are.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So,
You start, Julie.
10-cent tour.
Yeah.
Where you grew up, how you came to the Burlington area, and how you got involved in your respective roles.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so my name's Julie Lewis. I grew up in actually central New York, dairy country, and so a very small town in New York, and moved to Massachusetts with my husband about 20 years ago almost, when he got a job out here. He's an engineer. And I went to culinary school here, and then I worked in a lot of sort of food retail management. Okay. Most recently, I worked at Wegmans as a department manager.
Like this Wegmans here? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I worked at all of the Wegmans in the area, but I was.
Well, I'm just thinking, Wegmans came from like central New York,
right?
So
which
I wasn't sure.
Which is why I knew of it. I hadn't worked there when I lived in central New York, but I was very excited when I found out Wegmans was coming to Burlington.
I love it.
And yeah, great company, great store. So I don't know, about 2 or 3 years ago during the pandemic, I left my job at Wegmans, and I had been volunteering for People Helping People through their holiday program for a number of years, for the Thanksgiving program.
Okay.
And
when you said holiday, I immediately thought Wish Tree.
Yes, yeah, we kind of group Thanksgiving.
Other holidays.
Yes, and Judy will talk about Wish Tree for sure. But we grouped them both into the holiday program. So I'd done that for a number of years, and then a position opened up at People Helping People. So it was the perfect timing and the perfect opportunity for me to kind of marry my expertise in food management with my passion for helping people. So that's how I wound up at PHP.
So your role is actually the senior pantry manager.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. Now, I know. I'm thinking recently, please don't tell me it's been like 10 years, but the pantry had moved to a bigger location. Were you involved in that transition?
Yes. So the plans were already in place when I came on board. So the location had already been set. And Jim, the current executive director, and I kind of came on board a few months apart from each other. And we were big you know, we did a lot of the planning to get us from the St. Mark's building to the new building at 21 Murray Ave. So we were about probably 6 months in, both of us, when the pantry moved to the new location.
Oh my gosh, that must have been a logistical nightmare.
It was difficult. It was challenging, but man, we're so happy to be in that larger space.
Excellent.
It gives us so much more flexibility to store what we need, to keep on hand, you know, more stock, and to have workspace for our volunteers too.
Okay.
So it's been a great space. We're very happy there.
Excellent. So how long has it really been?
How's the new pantry?
The new pantry, 3 years?
2 years, right? We moved in 2022. Yeah.
Okay, so it has okay.
Yeah,
So
2 years in May.
Yeah, it was this past May. So coming up on 2.5 years.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. No, I don't feel so bad.
No.
I still think the
I had a hard
1980s
time.
were like, 20 years ago. So,
No.
so Judy.
I'm Judy Walsh. I grew up in Arlington. I went to Framingham State College, it's now university, to get my degree in education, and I got a master's at BU. And I taught for 7 years in Arlington at 3rd grade level. And then I stayed home with my 2 daughters. And actually, my husband and I moved to Burlington in 1968, so we've been here.
Okay. A while.
He passed away in 2015, but I've been here almost 56 years, so
Wow.
longer than I'd lived in Arlington, needless to say. So I have 2 daughters. One is an educator, and the other is in finance.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
Yes. So
Are they
then,
relatively close?
they're actually
geographically?
6 years apart.
No,
One
but I
lives
mean,
in
like,
Georgetown, Mass. The other lives still in Burlington.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyhow, and then when I went back to teaching, I started at the old Wildwood School, taught
Okay.
3rd grade for a couple of years, and then I got a permanent job at Fox Hill where I taught 4th grade for 21.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I retired actually in 2010, but as my daughter says, I don't know the word retirement,
No.
so I still work 3 days a week at Fox Hill as a perm sub.
So with all the recent discussion about the new Fox Hill, you're
Yes.
probably like,
I would like to see that come to fruition in my lifetime.
Well, I'm thinking more like, I want to know about that. I want to
Yes.
plan it. I want to be there.
Yes.
Cool.
So, and I became involved with PHP because I go to the church where the pantry was originally.
Okay.
In the St. Mark's. And a few of the people in my congregation were very involved. So I think in 2000 I started to become involved with the board.
Okay.
And in 2010 or so I took over the Wish Tree. And I
Okay.
do manage that. I've been president of the organization, secretary.
Wearer of many hats.
Yes. So I really love doing what I do, and I enjoy working with the people in the community, and I've gotten to know so many people through the Wish Tree program, for businesses, individuals, and hope to continue for a little while longer.
Well, since we are talking about the Wish Tree, do you want to start with that?
Oh, okay. Well, the Wish Tree this year is actually going to open at Burlington Mall. It'll be our 27th year at the mall.
Okay.
We're going to start the weekend before Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving comes late this year. It's not until the 28th of November.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we plan quite a bit ahead.
Yeah.
Like in the spring, we start planning actually for this year. And pretty soon letters will go out to our pantry clients about signing up for wishes.
Okay.
And then we're always looking for volunteers. People can always just go to our website, and our volunteer coordinator there will be a place where, are you interested in volunteering?
Okay.
And then the volunteer coordinator will get in touch with me. And
what's the time commitment on that?
it can be an hour here or there. We have lots of groups that sit at the mall, from the American Legion. We have companies that come and sit, church groups sit at the mall. It's a great way for students to get volunteer hours.
Oh, okay.
So
I know students are really looking for that.
And we gladly sign their little forms if they need it signed. So, I mean, last year we actually helped 119 families.
Wow.
With 258 children. It's our biggest year ever. So we sorted over 3,000 gifts.
Wow.
So it was a very big project, to say the least.
Are all of those families in Burlington?
Yes, they are all Burlington families. I do get a lot of emails because people look up Christmas help or holiday help, and our website comes up first, I think.
Yes.
So, you know, I unfortunately have to explain to them that it's a Burlington only.
Okay.
You know, and they usually register through the pantry, or sometimes Youth and Family Services will refer some families to us as well, that they don't go to the pantry, but they're all Burlington families. And this year, before we even do sign-ups, we've already have 129 families at our pantry that have children.
Oh, wow.
Which is
okay.
even more.
Now, are they automatically signed up?
No,
they
they have a choice. And once in a while, there's a couple of the families that do not sign up for some reason or another. And there's 278 children on our books, so we're expecting a bigger year than ever. So the more volunteers, and when they see, we'll use the Sign Up Genius for gifts that people can buy. They can go to the mall and get a wish. So we're looking for all kinds of help.
I've also seen like some of the wish tree tags at like other businesses.
Yes, we have a lot of businesses. There was a business over, I can't remember the business off the top of my head, but they took 25 children, which,
wow,
that's 10 gifts per child. So that was 250 gifts they provided. And Nordblum, Erling Construction, big companies take a lot of children.
That's amazing.
So we work with many, many companies over the years, and a lot of individuals. We have individuals that adopt 3 children. They're not all Burlington companies. There's a company in Woburn, ST Research, that provides over 200 gifts for us every year.
That's incredible.
Which is really fabulous.
I keep interrupting you because
No,
I'm like
that's
so
okay.
excited.
No, it's just become it's a very well-run program. We have a couple of new volunteers to assist me this year, which I'm really looking forward to. And a lot of the thoughts have been in my head, but we're trying to write everything down so that I will not be writing it forever, so that someone can take it over.
Well, plus
And
it's
you
got to
learn
be a
through
lot
experience.
of stuff up there.
I mean,
so.
I started just by doing underwear, sweatshirt, pajamas through the churches. So I started small, and then I moved on.
With 10 gifts per child, how much is the socks and underwear and pajamas and winter coat, and how much is I really want, okay, maybe not the Nintendo, but
No, we
like
put
a new basketball or...
Right. We give basic needs: underwear, sweatshirt, pajamas, and shoes.
Oh, okay.
The shoes, a lot of people were asking for shoes as a wish, so we felt that that was a basic need. So we give 4 basic needs: hats and gloves, which is a basic need, and we try to provide books, and for older students, like middle school and high school, gift cards to Barnes & Noble.
Okay.
And then they usually get 2 or 3 wishes. We try to put a maximum of $40 per wish.
Okay.
Sometimes they're a little over, sometimes they're a little bit under. Sometimes a person's very generous and buys 3 pairs of pajamas instead of 1.
Okay.
So it varies. And then we get, the Girl Scouts do a toy drive for us. And we have some companies that do toy drives, so they get some extra toys as well.
Oh, cool. Oh, so that's not part of like the official wishes?
No, those are extra.
Ah,
and
cool.
then we have the Lutheran Church in town donates blankets.
Ooh, okay.
You know, like throw blankets. So every family does get a throw blanket. And then we have people that knit hats and gloves. Okay. So we put those out. We give them their own wrapping paper, tape, bows, gift bags. So that gets donated to us as well, so that they can wrap their own gifts. Because everyone says, you wrap all those gifts? No, we do not.
Sure, sign me up.
No. So we let them wrap their own gifts, which I think they enjoy that.
Yeah. So it's a very generous program for sure. When you say, you know, kids get 9 or 10 gifts, but with really the focus, well, part of the focus is on the basic needs to make sure that we're, you know, giving them some new underwear and some new pajamas and some new shoes for the winter. And, you know, of course we want to bring some joy to the kids too, and give them a couple of wishes that that they want. So
actually tomorrow, going into Boston, there is a team bonding activity at Amazon, and they're donating 6 bikes to us.
Cool.
I'm very excited about.
I hope you have a big car to get them back here, or,
We're
or is
taking our-
Amazon going to deliver them?
No, we have a van, so we're taking the van in to pick
Because I don't
them
think you're going to want to ride all the bikes back.
up. No. Once in a while, they'll have a courier bring back. A couple of years ago, the same group donated some bikes to us, but there were 10 bikes, and they donated. They had a courier bring them. So many of them were not put together, and one of our volunteers at the pantry was very nice and put them together. So I'm hoping all 6 are put together.
That is quite the project. Trust me.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's jump back. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, go.
Let's start backing up to the umbrella organization of People Helping People. You know, based on the website, which you said is going to be changing soon. Can't wait. It was established or founded back in the 1970s. So how has it evolved?
Yeah, so it really started, if you read our website, we have a little bit of the history on the website. It started at the UCC church, which is the church I go to now, which is where we now do the Thanksgiving program.
Which we'll talk about.
Yes, which we will talk about. So it started when, a congregant noticed that there was a homeless family living in their car, or it was a police officer.
Yes,
and then this...
I believe he went to the UCC.
Yeah. And, he wanted to help them. He got other people involved. He became the Burlington Santa.
Okay.
So he kind of started his a little program to give gifts and help other families through that program. And then after a while, some of the faith organizations in town came together to put together this Covenant for Basic Needs. So they pooled funds in order to, help with people, say, utilities that if you're at risk of getting your electricity turned off or something like that because you can't pay that bill. So it was sort of like a social safety net. And then of course the food pantry was started at the UCC church as well, and then they kind of was it 1977, I believe, they brought those 3 sort of big pieces together into the umbrella of People Helping People, the umbrella organization.
Okay.
So we still today have our food pantry, which is what most people know about,
right.
and which where I work, and then we also have the Covenant for Basic Needs, which is now administered through the town's Youth and Family Services office.
Okay, and that's more of like just a financial, bank account.
Exactly. So
Oversimplified, but
yes. So it's people. It's funds that are available, only administered through Youth and Family Services. They have access to those funds if people, need a rent payment or a utility bill, or, something that can be even something like they need gas money to get to a job interview, something like that. They're things that, they have access to that.
Basic
those
needs.
Funds. Yes. Yes.
Hence the name.
Yeah. So that's the Covenant for Basic Needs, and we usually administer about $20,000 a year or so through that fund. Okay. And then there's the holiday programs, which under that is the Wish Tree and the Thanksgiving program.
Okay.
So.
Let's talk about the Thanksgiving program.
Okay.
Yeah. I know we're going backwards through time because you have Christmas and then Thanksgiving, and eventually I'm going to be asking about the pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Thanksgiving.
Fine. Yeah. So our Thanksgiving program consists of we give out a frozen turkey and all of the fixings, including fresh vegetables, fresh rolls, pie, to all the families that sign up for it. Usually our pantry families, but we open it up to, some seniors and veterans in town that maybe aren't pantry clients, but.
So it's not a prepared meal, it's like, here you go.
Correct.
Yes.
DIY.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Groceries are expensive, so we provide the ingredients for our clients, our folks, to make their own traditional Thanksgiving meal in their home. So not everybody takes that opportunity because some people have other plans for Thanksgiving or they don't want to cook a turkey, but that's the program we offer. So we usually have, last year we gave out 141 turkey dinners. Wow. It's all done through the United Church of Christ that I was mentioning earlier. It's the big white church across from Simon's Park. And we've done it through that church for probably
A long time.
15 years, maybe?
At least, I'd say maybe 20.
Maybe 20 years, yeah. I came on board about, I guess, 14 years ago,
Yeah,
so it
okay.
has been longer than, and basically we set up the whole hall, we fill it up with cranberry sauce and stuffing and, green beans, fresh potatoes and onions and rolls and pie, and the families get to come and walk through and pick out what they would like.
Yeah.
So they kind of shop for their meal.
Okay.
It's kind of a fun program. The
is.
volunteers love doing that program because they get to, walk through with folks and help them carry their food. And we have the Rotary that helps us with the turkeys, helps us carry them out and transport them and everything. So, it's a big undertaking. Maybe not as big as the Wish Tree,
No.
but
They're right next to each other, planning-wise.
No, it is a big undertaking because there's a lot of coordination that needs to go to make it run smoothly that one day.
yeah.
And you also don't want to run out of mashed potatoes either.
Yes.
And we've had to once in a while run out to shop for a few things.
Yeah, even turkeys. Sometimes we
Oh,
go
wow.
low on
Okay.
turkeys. We had to go grab 10 turkeys at Shaw's or something. But so that's Thanksgiving, and we expect, again, we've had our client base grow pretty substantially this year, so we expect to probably give out 150 to 160 turkeys and meals this year to families. So.
Now, is priority given to the regulars at the food pantry, or how is?
There's no priority. We'll give it to whoever signs up. So if we have 150 turkeys and we have 160 people signed up, we'll go get 10 more turkeys and make sure we get everyone a turkey and everyone a meal.
Wow.
So,
okay. Cool. Where does that extra money come from? Because I'm guessing that all the other the turkeys, I think, are they donated by Rotary?
No.
So the turkeys, now we actually get them from the Greater Boston Food Bank.
Okay.
That didn't used to be the case, but we now are able to get, we actually have 160 turkeys already promised to us this year. So, but if we do, and we do most years, have a few things like, say, cans of corn or something that we just don't have quite enough for the number of people we have signed up. So on that day, all the donations come in from the surrounding congregations and
from everywhere.
From everywhere, and we count them. We have volunteers that go through and count everything, every can. And if we're low on something, we have gotten grocery store gift cards donated. We ask for those in advance. The grocery stores are generous and they give us a gift card, so we'll use those. And then we also just have we have companies, a couple of companies that donate $1,000 to this particular project. So we always have enough funds to cover what we don't get donated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just call me Captain Obvious because I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
No, it's a great question.
So, as you're talking about the Thanksgiving program, kind of leads me into my next question as well, because there are all these partnerships and all these other organizations and individuals. You were recently recognized. I just remember the news clip on BCAT, and that's really the extent of what I remember. But recognized for all of your work with people helping people. Remind me.
Yes.
You get to talk about yourself again.
I know. No, thank you for asking. So I was given the Commonwealth Heroine Award. So every district is able to, state representatives are able to nominate one person from their district every year. So State Rep Ken Gordon nominated me and I was very flattered. For the award this year. So it kind of stems from, the volunteer work I've done and the work I've done through people helping people, but it also, it's about the Burlington Community Collaborative, which is a group of nonprofits and social service agencies in and around Burlington. So we're talking, Help Us, Women Aid, We Care, Mama Bear. We have Youth and Family Services, Council on Aging. We have representatives from the police department. We have, representatives from Rotary and other, just organizations that are there
so
to do.
Really like community.
It's very community based. We have the school system also, so which is an important piece.
Closet.
Cambridge Street Closet, and so basically we come together. I hope I didn't forget anyone because there's a lot of really amazing organizations. I hope I said Women Aid. Yes.
Even the library.
Yes, we have people from the library. So it's really everyone in town. It's everyone that keeps Burlington kind of going. So we all come together quarterly, and we sit around a table, and we usually eat cookies, and we just talk about how we can collaborate and how we can share resources. And almost every meeting ends with us all meeting in the parking lot and exchanging things from each other's cars because I've got something for the Cambridge Street Closet and something for We Care, and it's just kind of that kind of collaboration that we're on a personal level. We can pick up the phone, and if there was a fire in somebody's house and they need clothes, I know I can pick up the phone and call Cambridge Street Closet, and I can call Help Us because they can immediately swoop in and help. So it's about us all working together.
So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. How long has this collaborative been around?
We started meeting a little over a year ago.
Okay, so it's fairly new.
Fairly new, yeah. But we've made some great friends among the community.
It's been a great thing that Julie started because it's so important for us to talk, because some people were adopting children to help during the holidays that we were already taking care of. So now we're connecting so that we're not duplicating our efforts.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I thought that was super important. Plus we hear, stories of how a certain group may need help, and we can possibly recommend something and say, gee, send them to the pantry, Youth and Family Services, so we can help.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So there's just a lot of collaborating that can be done when you have a personal
open up the lines
relationship. You have somebody at the other end of the phone, and and just be understanding what each other's organizations do.
Okay.
Before this started, I didn't really know what Help Us was, and now I know. And we can help each other.
Kind of raises awareness for you guys, and then you can tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and so on and so on. And now I sound like a Memorex commercial. Do other communities have this collaborative, which is where you got the idea, or was it just kind of? I don't know if other communities have it. Probably there's some version of it in other communities. I got the idea because, two things. So we have a food pantry consortium that meets sort of all the local North Shore area food pantries meet quarterly, and share ideas, thoughts, commiserate. Oh, that always have cookies. No.
Have cookies. That's important. And then also, it actually was a lot of it was born out of working really closely with We Care. Donna Russo from We Care, she actually took over our old pantry space, and she put We Care in there, which is a children's organization helping bring resources to families that need clothing and diapers and other things for their kids. And Donna would visit the pantry every week and kind of manage our baby shelf. And she, if we needed diapers, she'd bring us some diapers from her stock. And if she was out of a certain size, I'd give her some diapers from our stock. Or formula, certain formulas, people only use a certain formula. So we would be trading formula all the time. And I was like, why aren't we doing this with the other organizations? There's so many other ways that we can collaborate in this way. We got a huge amount of sort of toiletry kits, like the small sizes, hundreds and hundreds of them donated to us. And we could only give out, after a while our clients were tired of them, so we couldn't give them all out.
Kind of like canned green beans, if they're still, the
Yes.
popular.
So I called Joyce from Help Us and said, could you use these? Because they work with homeless populations in Boston. And she was like, yes. So I brought her a couple boxes and she was able to give them out right away. So sharing of resources.
Okay.
Those kinds of things. And now we have sort of an email chain going. So
Perfect.
somebody will donate something to, say, Council on Aging, and it's not something they can use, so they send out an email, and one of the organizations inevitably will say, yes, I would love that.
I love it.
So it works, It's a good thing.
It is.
So that as the long answer to your question is where the Commonwealth Heroine Award came from.
Oh,
So
cool. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's very well deserved.
Thank you very much.
So I'm like, of course, as I mentioned before we started recording, I'm like the queen of tangents. So let's focus more on the pantry. And how would someone go about getting services and utilizing the pantry?
So we have a very easy application process. We want people to know that it's easy. All they have to do is come to the pantry during distribution hours. And we recently, through sort of change of regulation through USDA and the Greater Boston Food Bank, we've removed the sort of the paperwork piece of verifying people's income.
Okay.
So we don't have to look at your pay stub, we don't have to verify your income, we just have people self-declare that they're within a certain income range, and then they just have to prove that they live in Burlington, because our food pantry is just for Burlington residents. So that's it, just proof of residency and self-declaration of income.
Okay.
And then we bring you in, you sit down in the office, and we fill out a little card with just very basic information about your, the household members.
Okay.
And then once you do that, you can come to the pantry once every week and pick up a full set of groceries. So everything from perishable goods like dairy products and produce and bread to and meat to canned goods and boxed goods and things like that.
Wow. Mm-hmm. The clientele that utilizes the pantry the most, are some of them just like short term, I just lost my job, I need help for about 3 months, versus like longer term?
It's definitely a mix.
Okay.
It's definitely a mix. We see both, in some ways we're happy when we see a client kind of drop off because we know that they're doing better. And we do hear the stories, so we know that sometimes it's just a loss of a job and this is temporary, or it's an illness and this is hopefully temporary, or it's long term, it's a senior that's on a fixed income and we see them every week.
Okay.
For years. And either way is fine. We're happy to help them no matter what the situation is.
Cool. Let's flip it around. How would someone go about either volunteering at the pantry or helping financially or making food donations?
So we have, if you go to our website, there's a way to donate online. We definitely need, financial donations just to keep the lights on and keep things running. We do purchase some foods. For example, if we can't get milk from the Greater Boston Food Bank, that's an essential. So we will purchase milk out of our funds. So we need to keep, keep receiving donations and support from the public and from companies as well. So we accept monetary donations. Food donations can be dropped off at the pantry every day, 7 to 7. We have a donation center at our new pantry. The door is clearly labeled, but it's on a timed lock, so it's open even if we're not there. Just a little room with shelves, and people can open it and put non-perishables. We ask for unexpired, non-perishable foods. Really of any kind. We try to put out on social media. If you follow us on social media, we try to regularly inform of what we're in need of at the moment, because sometimes we have a ton of cereal and sometimes we have zero. So it really ebbs and flows and the needs change all the time. And as for volunteering, we're always accepting new volunteers. We love our volunteers. We couldn't run without them. You know, you can go to our website. When our new website is up in the next week or so, there'll be a form that you can fill out and kind of, you can read about each type of volunteering, whether it's you're more interested in something like a wish tree or regular pantry shifts or whatever it may be. You can kind of check the box and say, I'm interested in this, and tell us a little about yourself, and then our fabulous volunteer coordinator will get in touch with you.
Yes.
Excellent. Are there busier times of year that the pantry is utilized? Because I'm also thinking, like many years ago, it's like everybody donates to the food pantry during, you know, Thanksgiving and Christmas, end of year. Here, you know, we're feeling incredibly generous, and then come February, it's like you're up a tree.
Thank you for mentioning that.
Yeah, that's a good.
That is a thing. That is definitely a thing. So as far as donations, yes, we get the vast majority of our donations starting September, October, and huge amounts of donations. People do food drives around the holidays, and we gladly accept that. We use those times of greater donations to stock up and keep some stock on hand. But yes, you know, come January, February, and especially during the summer, we don't get nearly as many donations. So if somebody's thinking about doing a food drive, do it in like March or April. That would be great. You know, we've been currently in August running low on a number of things, just because people just, you know, they're busy, they're doing their summer things. They're not thinking, you know, they start thinking about the holidays, and then they start thinking about donations like kind of later in, you know, in September. That's when we see it pick up. And as far as you know, busyness at the pantry in terms of clients, we have kind of traditionally seen the summer slow down, because I think for the same reasons, because people are doing their summer things, their routines change, so they, you know, maybe the kids are doing something different. But this year we saw a huge utilization of our summer lunch program for kids. And so I think that helped kind of boost up our summer kind of busyness, and it was actually really busy. We had some record days and a lot of new clients coming on board this summer. So I don't know if it's just, I think it might also speak to the economy and that things are expensive and it's really starting to catch up with people. So this summer was a little bit of an odd one where it was more busy.
A partnership through the schools, because the schools don't have, they're not in session, so the kids can't get access to the free lunches and the free breakfasts. And
yeah, so it's in that, you know, in that the knowledge of that kids now, and we're very glad that they get free lunches. All kids do. That's a fabulous thing in Massachusetts. But we try to provide for the families whose kids would normally be benefiting from the free and reduced lunch program. You know, lunches during the regular school year. So we do tap into the resources at the schools. We ask them to send out our information to all families that, you know, this year they actually send it out to all families. But we still find that most of the people who utilize our program are folks who would be within that free and reduced lunch range, income range. But yeah, it's because we know that kids would, you know, some kids might not have access to healthy lunches during the summertime.
And we run it during February and April too.
Yep, we do it during school
vacations, February and April as well.
Okay, am I missing something on that note? You know, how many, I think we touched upon this, you know, how many different families are impacted on average, like just utilizing the pantry, not necessarily the Thanksgiving program, because that's like different. But
Yeah, so any given month, so we see a lot of families come every week, but most of our families who are active will come at least once a month to supplement their food. And so it's about 175 to 200 families that come. So we're impacting about 500 people, individuals.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's grown.
Especially for, tiny little Burlington.
Mm-hmm. I know, and a lot of people, I hear it all the time that people are surprised that there's such a need in Burlington, but having worked in this sort of realm for a couple of years, I've learned that there's need everywhere, even in Burlington.
Yes.
Now, I know you mentioned it, but when I was preparing the questions earlier, I keep thinking of the Cambridge Street Closet. And do you have any influence or any participation or any partnership with the Cambridge Street Closet?
In some ways, Rosemary D'Souza is part of our collaborative that we spoke about earlier. And so we've had our meetings at the school and had the whole collaborative, come and visit the closet. So we've all seen it. So there have been a few times I've called Rosemary on a couple of occasions when we've had a family reach out to us who was in an immediate need of clothing in particular. And Rosemary reaches out to us sometimes if there's a need. I know we've given, I believe we've given her feminine hygiene products before to stock there. So we're definitely we're always in touch with each other. We don't have huge involvement with each other, but we're always there.
Started by the school itself. It wasn't like people helping people saying.
No, Rosemary started it, really.
Yes, Rosemary started it. It was modeled after a closet, I believe, in Woburn.
Yeah, Tanner Closet.
Tanner Closet.
And, I remember when it first came out, I'm like, oh, that's a really cool idea.
Yes, and Help Us actually worked a lot, really closely with Rosemary to get that sort of off the ground and get it stocked to start with. And continues to support her, support the closet a lot. But we're, again, with part of the collaborative, we all kind of feel like part of the same.
It takes a village.
Yeah, it takes a village.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of that. Sort of. Community garden. We were talking about fresh produce and the Boston Food Bank, and I've kind of lost touch with how involved the community garden is with the food pantry.
Yeah, it's huge at this time of year. So the community garden started, I believe this is the 11th or 12th growing season. So it's
something like that.
It's been around for a while now. The first season they harvested 600 pounds of produce, which sounds like a lot, but compared to the amount of food we're giving out, 20,000 pounds of food a month, 600 pounds is kind of a drop in the bucket. However,
it's fresh.
It's fresh. Yeah, don't get me wrong. We love the fresh produce. But that being said, so this past season, 2023, the garden has really progressed in there, growing a lot more. The soil is more nourished, and they harvested 3,500 pounds of food.
Wow.
So that makes a lot more of an impact on what we're able to give out. And the clients love it. I mean, it's what's better than fresh tomatoes right out of the garden. So I think it's
and you always get like a bazillion tomatoes.
Yes.
There's a lot of green ones up there right now because I've watched.
Put them in a paper bag. It really does work.
No, it does. I know. I used to.
So, but I mean, we work really closely with Peter Capola, who's our garden manager, master gardener. I know a lot of people know him in town. He does all the planning, and he has a core team of about 5 to 6 really dedicated garden volunteers that do most of the work. They help with the planting, they water every week, and then they weed and they harvest.
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't want to weed.
I know, weeding is not my favorite either.
It's just...
Some people like it though. Our pantry assistant Abby goes every week and she loves weeding. So we're like, perfect. Have fun.
I love it.
And then we also get when we have a lot of times we have groups that want to come and do a volunteer job.
Okay.
So like companies that want to do a team building or something, we often will send them over to the garden, and Peter will put them
And they get to weed.
right
Yes,
to work.
they get to weed.
They get to weed. They get to spread
Let's
mulch.
learn how to compost.
They get to do all the big tasks. But compost, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we have compost bins.
Yes.
And we actually bring
In the garden or at the pantry? Or?
in the garden,
garden.
but we take compost from the pantry and bring it to the garden to go back into the soil for next things to grow.
make even,
Yeah.
go from 3,500 pounds to 4,500. Okay, maybe not in a year.
We get some food from Farmer Dave's.
Yep, we get
Love Farmer
nice
Dave's.
fresh produce from different sources.
Sources,
Farmer
yeah.
Dave's is one. We get there's a food rescue called Love and Spoon. Sorry, it's changed to just Spoonfuls now.
Oh, not Love and Spoon.
It's just Spoonfuls, yeah.
Okay.
And they go to supermarkets and pick up fresh food that is
Okay.
going to be donated, and they'll bring that to us. So Wegmans, we get a lot of things from Wegmans. A lot of our bread comes from Wegmans.
Oh.
But yeah, the garden is huge. Our garden volunteers are some of the most passionate people. When they come in with their loads of produce, they're just passionately telling us about the things that are growing, and
I love
the
it.
butternut squash are early this year, and the grapes are coming out, and everything
grapes?
is
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
We even have grapes. I know. It's really
Those are
cool.
kind of challenging to grow, but then again, I can't grow zucchini, and that grows
No, that
itself.
grows.
so.
It does.
Yes, Peter is the grape master.
He is.
He's yeah. We wouldn't be able to do that without Peter's expertise. So.
Do the pantry clients have the opportunity, if they choose, to participate in, the garden?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we do have quite a few clients that are also volunteers.
Okay. I wasn't sure if there was a stigma attached and they didn't want to I don't know.
No, we try to create an environment where everybody is a person and that's all we are. We're not nothing more, nothing less. So we do have clients that are volunteers and volunteers that are clients.
Okay.
Both. I don't know that we have any in that go to the garden right now.
Okay.
But it's certainly.
But there is that
certainly
cross-pollination type thing
absolutely.
within the organization as a
Yeah,
whole.
and if somebody wanted to do that, they would be absolutely welcome to. It'd probably be fun for them to see the things that they're gonna hopefully be able to cook up and eat next week.
Right.
Right?
It's also a good networking opportunity too, you know.
Yeah.
When we were talking about funding and all this kind of stuff, it just popped into my head, and I'm like, I think Cummings grant. You guys got a Cummings grant.
We did. We did.
Was that people helping people, or the food pantry, or both? Or I'm like,
Yeah.
I keep getting. It's hard to separate the two.
Right.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, really, because the bulk of the sort of the operating funds
come
go
to
to
the
the
pantry.
Right.
go to and come out of the food pantry. So,
Okay.
but
And like the wish tree and the holiday stuff is seasonal.
Right, it's just a piece of the pie. But
Right.
it is one of the things that we cover, just like basic needs. I think basic needs is the least known of anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, Cummings grant.
yes, so we got a Cummings grant. Our executive director, Jim Sheridan, was able to, make the case for us to get a grant. We received $40,000 a year for 3 years. So it's a $120,000 grant, which is
Wow.
huge,
Yeah.
So it'll go towards sometimes when you receive a grant, it's for a specific purpose or for a
and that
specific
was
program.
going to be my next question.
Yeah, but this one is just to go toward programs, which
Yeah.
everything we do is programs.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a lot of flexibility with how we can use those funds, and so if we need to buy a new refrigerator in the next year, we won't have to stress about it because we
Okay.
have
Right.
we have those funds in our general operating budget. So.
Is there also the restriction where, okay, you get the 40,000, you have to spend it? Or can it be like going into the, what's the lesser known one that I'm already forgetting? the covenant of needs?
So I believe we have to report back. Jim is more of the expert on
Okay.
this, but I do believe we report back to Cummings how we're using the money.
Okay.
Right.
I don't think there's an expiration date on
Okay.
it, though.
I wasn't sure if they took it back or something.
No, I don't believe so. There are some grants that will.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But I don't believe Cummings is one of them. So we would just have to, over time, report how we're using the funds.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
Am I forgetting anything about the pantry that you want to mention? Because I feel like I'm neglecting Judy.
No, that's okay.
Because we did talk
No.
about, I want to talk about the pumpkin patch.
Oh, yes.
How does
we
that
have-
fit in with everything?
Okay. I think it probably was about 12 years ago, St. Mark's wanted to do an outreach project. And of
Okay.
course, the pantry was located on the church grounds. So they thought that that would be an organization that they could do this project with. So we started very small.
Okay.
This is going to be, because we skipped COVID year, but this will be, I think, the 11th year for the patch.
Okay.
And 100% of the proceeds from the patch go to people helping people. It's, the first couple of years was slow going, but each year we sell more pumpkins because we're more known.
Okay.
And we're able to donate more money to people helping people via the patch. The patch will open actually September 29th. I think the pumpkins come the 28th. They come on a Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So,
I thought it was always like October 1st. You know.
well, usually, and
Okay.
the sign probably will still say October 1st, but the pumpkins are coming on the 28th.
Okay.
And lots of times we have many students from the high school that help unload the pumpkins because we
Okay.
get about 1,500 plus pumpkins.
Wow.
So there's a lot of pumpkins.
Okay.
We get them through Pumpkin Patch USA, and they get them from the Navajo reservations in New Mexico.
Wow. Okay.
So we're helping really the Navajo people by getting the pumpkins, and then we're helping people by selling them. And we get a percentage of it, of the money. The more pumpkins we sell, the higher the percentage we get for
Okay.
profit. And 100% of the profit goes to people helping people. So we get a lot of high school volunteers help unload the pumpkins. We have companies, churches, National Honor Society usually man the patch.
Okay.
The patch is usually open 12 to 6 daily, 11 to 6 on the weekends.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to a good season, not a lot of rain. Last year we had a couple of days that we got rained out. So
Was
that
it
makes
last year that it rained when you were unloading the pumpkins, or was
No,
that
I
a
think that
couple
was
years
2
ago?
years ago. Last year was okay.
I just remember seeing photos of
Yes.
like the torrential. Ooh.
Yes, it was not a pleasant day, but we still had, the crew comes, and
I
the
love
high
it.
schoolers are fabulous. They are really great.
As long as you sign their no.
Yeah, no, really, and we do sign those forms. But, and it's very easy to man the patch. It's not like we have to weigh the pumpkins.
Okay.
And we don't pay anything up front. So if a chipmunk eats a pumpkin, it goes into the bushes. And
Goes back
we
in the
don't have to
compost
pay
for-
for it. We just
Okay.
pay them a percentage of what we sell. So any leftover
Okay.
pumpkins, sometimes we give a few pumpkins away after the patch is closed. Some
Okay.
people want them for the seeds. We leave a little donation box. Sometimes people will donate like $5 and take 5 or 6 pumpkins.
Okay.
Makes it a lot easier than lifting any extra pumpkins and putting them into the woods. However, we've never had a pumpkin grow. The deer eat them during the
the
winter.
deer eat
Oh,
them
absolutely.
out of
The
the
deer
woods.
eat them during the winter, so we feed the chipmunks, deer, squirrels
Why not?
in the winter with any leftover pumpkins. So we're looking
Excellent.
forward to doing the pumpkin patch again this year.
Speaking of fundraisers,
Oh,
you mentioned you have a
Big one.
fundraiser coming up. Tell me about
Yes.
that.
Yes, we're very excited about this one. It's called Burlington Feud. So it's modeled after Family Feud, like the game show.
Yeah, okay.
And we have 8 Burlington-based teams.
Okay.
So we have the police department has a team, the school committee is a team, the select board. Who else do we have? Library trustees, the planning board, youth and family services. Let's see, library trustees, did I say that?
Yeah.
Burlington alumni group.
Yep, a Burlington high school alumni. I hope I didn't leave
Are
anyone
they
out.
limited to like 5 people on the team?
Yeah,
Like,
5 people on the
okay.
team. So all the teams are already set. It's on September 21st, 5 to 8 p.m. You can buy your tickets online on our website. But so it's going to be like a game show, and the 8 teams are going to kind of go up in rounds, 2 against 2,
Okay.
or 1 to 1 in rounds, and then eliminate each other until the champs are
Okay.
crowned. It's going to be really fun. We've already got some healthy competition going on
Yes.
between
Wondering where you get all the surveys. Who writes
Yeah.
the questions? How do
Well,
you know?
yeah, so that's a good question. So we actually put out a survey of Burlington questions that are going to be mixed into the regular questions. So the regular questions are ones that we had to get a package of them that already had the survey
Okay.
done.
Well, that's helpful.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a lot of questions for us to do on our own.
Yeah.
But we put out the Burlington questions, and they'll be sprinkled into throughout the game. So if you're, a Burlingtonite, it just makes
Yeah.
it a little more fun and interesting. So yeah, and the winning
Has that
team,
survey gone out yet? Because I want
Yes.
to fill it out.
Yeah,
it's
we
done,
did.
yeah.
done.
Unfortunately, it was pretty,
Next year.
It was pretty easy to find 100 people, but yes, next
Yes.
year. And we might need help coming up with new questions for next year too. So, but yeah, it's going to be really fun. We have a lot of really great raffles as well.
Oh, okay.
Like lots of really awesome baskets and gift cards and things that we'll be doing raffles for. We have a Yeti cooler that we're gonna be raffling off.
okay.
So it's just gonna be a really fun evening. Dinner is included
Yeah.
in the
okay.
ticket price, and it's family friendly. So
Okay.
kids can come.
I don't know. You might have to censor some of those teams.
No.
I know. Definitely healthy competition between them. It's
Yes.
going to be really fun. So we hope everybody
That's
comes.
September.
21st.
21st,
It's a Saturday, 5 to 8 p.m.
In Billerica.
Yeah, at the Billerica Elks. We needed a very large space that had a stage, so that one fit the bill. So it's going to be there. Yeah.
Excellent.
And we're hoping this becomes an annual fundraiser.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And then you
learned that
could-
we need to fundraise throughout the year because we used to depend on the wine tasting in February.
Okay.
And last year we started with the Sizzling Summer Raffle.
Oh, tell me about that, because we only have like a minute left.
Yeah, the Sizzling Summer Raffle just wrapped up today, actually. We
Yeah.
did a
Woohoo.
live drawing here on BCAT, here at BCAT, I should say. And so the winners have already been contacted. So if you haven't been contacted, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But thank you for participating.
Yes.
And then we have our Capitol Grill raffle, which is coming up next in the
Okay.
fall, and it gets drawn in January. So we really need to keep the fundraising kind of going throughout the whole
Right.
year.
We're actually going to be at the Pocket Park for the next 4 Thursdays in September.
For the beer garden.
Oh,
Yeah.
in
beer
the beer
garden.
garden. And for 2 weeks we're selling tickets to the
Burlington
Feud,
Feud.
and then we're going to start selling Capitol Grill raffle tickets.
Yeah, so come to our table at the
Yes.
beer garden if you're there. So,
Where would you like to see all of the programs in 5 years?
that's a great question.
I know. I mean, originally, years ago, we were trying to look at a plan, and we had always hoped to have our own building eventually someday.
Okay.
I don't see that. I mean, there's so little space available in Burlington. I think that's going to be a challenge.
Okay.
I know Arlington built one of their own, but it cost millions of dollars.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
it's hard enough just to do the fundraising that we do because we're an all-volunteer board. So, but in a way, we'd like to see numbers go down because things were better. But unfortunately, I think, and we're not serving all the people that we need to serve.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that I've focused on since I've been with the organization has been the outreach piece.
Okay.
Again, through the collaborative, but also, getting into the schools and doing professional development days to inform teachers, so that hopefully teachers can connect with parents that they know are in need. Coaches, you know, we've been trying to really connect with as many people in the community so that they know about us, and also because, you know, there are a lot of barriers to people kind of seeking food assistance. It's tough, you know, it is tough, but we want people to know that when they come to the food pantry, they're going to be treated with kindness and dignity and respect, and we want that to be like the culture that people know. So we're hoping that has led to more utilization of the pantry.
And it sounds like you're doing everything perfectly, and I would love to let you continue because I really want to hear more, but you're out of time.
Okay.
So September 21st.
Yes.
The Burlington Feud.
Burlington Feud.
And then the pumpkin patch, and then the Thanksgiving, and then the wish tree, and let's just continue. So thank you both so much for coming. I love hearing all the wonderful things that you guys do. So
thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
And I also want to thank everyone at home for tuning in this evening. I hope that you appreciate being part of such a wonderful village, and I hope that you've learned a couple of ways that you could get more involved. So thank you very much for tuning in. Have a great night, and I'll see you around town. Good night.